like to introduce the disclaimer first. The content of this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and the guest and do not represent any organizations or institutions. This podcast does not provide legal, medical, or professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research and consult with professionals where necessary. Listener discretion advised. Hello, Salim. How are you?
I am delicious. I'm fine.
All right. I hear you. So we're going to talk about some raw and unfiltered conversations, and we're going to hear how it is. So welcome. So the first question for you is, like I like to ask all my guests, why are people afraid of the truth?
I tell you one reason to sum it all up, because they've been listening to lies all their life. Because we've been told lies, we've been indoctrinated with lies. We just bet everything we know been a lie. So if you was one way and you switch into the other side of the other equation, which truth and lie, wouldn't you be afraid? Especially if you're facing a reality that comes with consequences for lying.
Right.
That makes sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. So what is like the backlash of calling out injustice and corruption?
Right now, today, I would say it's also 180 degrees from what it was yesterday. Consequences and circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is done flip-flop. We got to understand that. Once we understand that, we see the whole big picture. That things go to, it runs its course. Everything in creation runs its course, right?
The cost of being real. So, talk about losing friends and jobs and opportunities for being honest.
Well, it's the same. It applies the same thing, because today, the time we living in, 2025, is only about one way or the other way. And so, if we not on the same frequency, if we not on the same current, the energy. See, there's an energy that's dictating one way or the other. So if we all in tune with the flow, and it's a beautiful energy. It's positive, it's creative, it's just on time, because it's consistent with flip-flop. So, and we look at the big picture. The big picture encompasses everything we need to know. And we'll get to know it. We can take 100 years, don't matter. But the circumference, the big picture, all is about the energy that the whole universe is being affected by.
Okay. So talk about why uncomfortable conversations are necessary.
Oh, they're very necessary, because we've been here holding it in all our doggone time. Because I know I held in so much stuff, and I'm 67, and I just held it in just because I knew it was uncomfortable. And I don't like uncomfortable situations, not even on my worst enemies. I rather them not, be uncomfortable. But see, now, it don't matter if you're uncomfortable or not, because the energy is dictating. Ain't me no more.
How do we have productive, deep conversations without fear?
Say that again. How we have what kind of conversation?
How can we have productive, deep conversations without fear?
Yeah, okay, that word productive. I think I have a little a plan that last month I just came to top of my head. And I'm going to use that to speak for a lot of things. If we put God first, it's like an equation. Like Einstein, equation is 2 knowns and 1 unknown. And when we got all 3 knowns, and this is the 3 known factors here. God, me, and y'all. So meaning that if God, these are the 3 things that you are, your principles. These are your foundation. This is who you are. If you have, this is the core of our creation. It was God first, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And he created who? You, me, right?
Yeah.
And so, and now all we need is one more to make it complete, right? 3 components, right? We got God, me, and y'all. Me and everybody else is in our equation, but we got those 3. I guarantee I got a fixed problem. I know it for a fact. If everybody had that concept, the whole world is flip-flop. Because the world has flip-flop. We just ain't got around to it yet.
All right, so I want to talk about the child welfare, human trafficking, and exploitation.
That sounds deep.
Yeah. Why do you think the system is broken, the child welfare system?
Because it's something been happening for probably 1,000 years. We know for at least 400 years. It's been enforced. It's been in every way that system of corruption has been part of civilization. We gonna just go back 400 years. How about that?
Go back.
If we go back 400 years, that been at the core of these so-called rulers, right? Which is absolutely retarded, right?
Do you think that that the foster care system is a pipeline to trafficking?
All of it, absolutely. That's what the fuck they've been doing. And they used to rape our mamas and daughters and shit in front of us, right? If we disobeyed their fucking ass. So I'm just being, didn't we say this shit is open and honest and raw?
Wait. Hold on. Yeah.
Now you're getting me started because that's the truth.
No, okay. So how do traffickers manipulate the system?
By saying they are the system, by writing the system, by being at the top of the fucking system, and that's why they get away with the shit. Like the Pope, like all of them.
Okay.
They've been right at the top of that shit.
So who do you think runs the system?
The devil. That it's the elite, the same ones that have been running the system for 1,000 years. Motherfuckers that think they continue. The devil, man. 6,000 years ago, they just start from the same people.
I gotta bleep you out because you swearing so much.
I'm sorry. I can cut that down. That's too raw for me. I'd rather do that in person.
Okay.
I really talk like that in person. They know who they're talking about.
How do corporations, politicians, and institutions manipulate justice?
The way they're doing it right now today. It's all coming out because they've been doing it for years. Because they are the same way they say they are exempt. Right? Because they rule the law. These are people from way back from Queen Elizabeth, Caligula, the Roman Empire, and it's still happening today. You even find that out, that, all the way back to Queen Elizabeth. In other words, this is everything is their law, their law. And we know that. We just look 400 years and keep it in content with black people. Because that was 400 years, these are the same people that perpetrate this power today.
Do you think that the prison is like a form of modern day slavery?
It has been over 50 years that I recognize.
Okay. Why do whistleblowers get silenced?
Get violent?
Yeah, why do they get silenced? Like,
why they get silenced?
Yeah,
because they gotta give somebody, it's easy. And it's real serious. Because because they charged him with treason, and they death penalty just because they told the secret. Because the guy Snowden, he got this magazine called WikiLeaks, but he worked, the young guy, and he worked for the military, government, and then he got a job, all the secret shit. Somebody have to have different jobs, right? Top secret, and he just, because if your whole purpose in life as a person or entity or a country, so we're talking about a country that's supposed to be the best ever known in the world history. Everybody got to believe him. And so, somebody telling your guy, and Ali told me, he told me that this country 50 years ago was the most corrupt country on the planet Earth. And not that I was surprised, but I was surprised with him to say that shit. Like everybody said, because I learned in school, this supposed to have been the best model country in the world for the years. And we know that, because we still sit up there believing dumb shit while Donald Trump is the goddamn president.
So let me ask you this. How do we hold powerful people accountable?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. We can't do nothing. We personally, but I tell you how nature does. I tell you what the Creator says, how they don't hold them accountable, because we know, how the hell can we hold your slave master accountable?
So can you share like a real world example of systematic corruption?
Let me think of one. Probably a billion of them. Systematic corruption. Okay, we're going to go with our kids, because something is relevant between me and you when we talk about. Because Jamal is 47, right? And certain things in the public school system, they still do it. Remember I told you they wanted to keep the kids back, right? When they see they're intelligent, that's one of the most diabolical ones that keep recycling itself, and that's why we've been 400 years of manipulation of slavery. If you take those kids and indoctrinate them and do the reverse, right? We and you talked about a lot of examples where they give them retinol and all that shit.
Right.
That's a perfect example.
Okay. Okay, so what is your definition of systematic corruption?
Well, let me think of one, because I never thought about it. Systematic corruption is something that has been intentional, and its only purpose is to do what it is: systematic injustice. So, whatever system that is being applied in, we're going to stick with the United States, right? It's written. It's a law. It's something that's supposed to be the norm. You understand? Because it is. Ain't they been treating us the same way for 400 years? Like that right there, right?
So
that's systematic injustice. If you can keep it going on this long.
No, okay. I understand your point of view. As a black man, okay. Who benefits and who suffers?
Who benefits and who suffers? What, during this systematic system?
Yeah, like who benefits and who suffers from all of this?
At the moment in time, like they say, you're gonna suffer at the end, right? Even though who suffers is the victim. Like right now, we just be practical. The people at the top, the people that's running the system. And we can just say slave master, and not just they slave master is these people that trying to control the world with money, everything, man. They okay, but at the end of the day, the people that has been suffering for all these 400 years, right? It tells you right in the story. Those people that we suffered, the victims, the sheep, the slave, but it also says after a certain time that has right this course, it's gonna flip flop. So right now they suffering. I ain't suffering no damn more.
Can you share like an experience when you uncovered corruption?
Okay. That's the answer. Because I've been naive. I say I was naive for a long time. And it was when I was actually an adult, I think. I don't know. I remember when I realized that I confronted with my mom, I didn't know legal big companies like AT&T, the biggest companies, right? Gas companies, the government. When I found out that they actually started cheating, that took me to another level. I'm trying to think of the example where I found out. When I realized, the banks, because I realized when I started paying attention to a lot of stuff, my bills, my banking, everything, these legitimate entities, these stores and corporations, I was literally shocked. Because I just heard, but I didn't think they really would cheat. I really didn't. I was naive. And I was an adult. And I realized how they was playing me, like the cable company. All these companies, I'm like, what? I thought it was regulation. And so that was my biggest wake up. When I really realized that not just your friends and your enemies, the doggone people that's supposed to be running shit, they cheating real more than everybody else. That was my mind. That's on every level. All of them cheat.
So let me ask you this. How can we turn our pain into power and be like the voice of survivors?
Good question. Because all these things have answers. And you know what the answers are, Leslie? The exact flip-flop, what happened, what been. You know what I'm saying? We do the exact opposite because everything is going in the exact opposite direction. In other words, we just let God take his course. Because I'm here to tell you, we don't have to do anything but just go with the flow.
Okay, so
it's a beautiful flow, and it's so easy because all the resistance, that's it, literally that fading away because of it.
No. So do you have any advice for those who are like struggling right now?
All good questions because I can directly relate to them myself personally. Okay, I felt struggle all my life. Every cycle, 15 years, and even up until the end of this year, literally. I just saw some fellas I ain't seen in a long time yesterday, gas station, just that quick and, 2-minute, 5-minute conversation. We able to express a lot because of the time, and so I felt the struggle up and on, and I literally felt the struggle to a point that I never felt before in my life. You know what I'm saying? Up until December 31st. And so the only thing we can do is have patience with endurance, right? Right. Because the God is going to manifest everything he promised to the believers and the non-believers. That's a fact.
I agree. God is definitely gonna come and bless those who believe. Can you?
Yes, and bless the haters too. They're gonna get spanked too.
Can you tell me how like any of your childhood situations in your life affected your adulthood? Like, did you go through something traumatic in your childhood that still affects you today?
Well, I can say yay, because when I think about it and look back, because I can really look at everything when I turned 60 for what it really was, my past, and now I couldn't necessarily say one thing, but I think a few things. Because I told you what happened in conception in my mom's womb. Literally, I had conscious, and it was something. I think that's where it started, and it was had me because it was really me striving and for life, not giving up. So now I look at that situation, right, 3 times, right, and then I look at a lot of other situations that I can go right half of that situation, go those 3 months, right, locked up, right. Okay. And so what I'm saying is, for me, those are traumatic things, Because there are people like him, right?
Yeah,
you think they're too bad?
And like, you gotta prioritize your mental health over everything. Now, I look at you as an advocate, right? And I see that you have helped your son to become the man that he is, and I always looked up to you as far as you.
You always said that too. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you starting a business and then you gave the business to your son. Like, you literally started it and then you handed it over.
I gave it to him too.
Right. So, like, what are the challenges that you faced, like, in life, like, period?
Well, you got some great questions. I think because you say them, I can respond to them basically. So it's a humbleness within me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up, had a father, and there was a lot of things that it was what do you call it? Dysfunctional, right? Right. And he knew, but I don't judge nobody. But I just wanted something different that I knew that could have been there and wasn't there. With mine, as a young, because I jumped on it right away because the opportunity came without me. I didn't plan neither one of my boys at all, right? But when it happened, they both was boys, so I just took it and said, I'm gonna jump on it. I'm gonna do some stuff that, like I tell you, right, that we missed out, but we can just have a chance and do it over again. It's the same. You know how, especially with your life, what you're going through, you get another chance to do it better.
So how do you build a movement?
Well, I never even thought about trying to build one, but I think I can probably come up with that since you brought the thought up, because there have always been, I guess, movements, but I never was inclined I never got this electrical shock to be, even the ones that happened before my time, the marches on Washington, and my people did Carson Beach and so it was something that was missing to excite me to join and be a part of that. So that's a good question. But I think now with me, because I do feel like there's a message that should be told from all of us together. And I think it's going to happen because right now, I can feel things but the answers, they come though, Leslie. They've been coming at the right time so we can make the connections. You know what I mean?
Right. So I feel like it's very important that we understand our rights in this systematic that we're living in. So when it comes to understanding your rights, how do you think the system violates people's civil rights?
Okay, that's a good question. Because I remember when I was down in Atlanta a few years ago, and I met someone. He had just did time and stuff. We was talking about a lot of things. But he the one that really made me conscious, because he was telling me about if we only knew how they violate. Because he was talking about how he did time and how he finagled got out, still doing good. So we don't. Like you said, if we had a clue how they just they violate our civil rights blatantly, right in your face, because they know you don't even know. Right? Right? And once you know them, and then you speak on, they're going to test you, especially back when I spoke on first time before we going to go and start going to search my car. I said, I didn't tell you to do that. You got me out here searching my and so, but anyway, we got to know them. Oh my goodness. And when he told me a lot of, and I supposed to have a little bit of God going on, but I know intellectually, I didn't go to school, and when I just thought about that, and I started reading them, just the first and second, and then they tried to do it on me with no probable cause to want to search my car. And when I knew that shit, it was so deep, because it was like day and night. I'm always like, what you think you know yourself? I say, Yes, sir. No, sir. So I literally in Boston. It was that car, the top white car. He punched his big belly and pushed me to my car. Cause I said, I didn't give y'all no, cause I had to say that. Cause that was resonating. And I said, I would have to use that. Cause I ain't trying to go on my goddamn car. And this motherfucker want to beat my ass. Oh, you see? If we don't know it, knowledge is the shit.
Yeah, knowledge is power. So let me ask you this. Do you have any resources for anybody that is self-representing themselves?
The only resource, to be honest, is you. Yeah, and I'm serious. It just happened to be you. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine too. Everything happens to be family, don't it?
Yeah, thank you.
I think everything, all the good things, all kinds of shit, they happen to be family. I'm like, damn, what's up with that? I was people I didn't want to say them because it make it seem like I swear to God, all my life. I said, oh, this should come from yourself.
Yeah. So we talked about
yourself, and it comes from and start with you. No, it starts with God, you, and family. Everything that's good. Right. Now, ain't that some? That's good. That's the shit.
It's beautiful. So,
yes, thank you.
We're gonna move on to the fight for justice and creating a real change. So, what do you think is working right now?
Oh, girl, you just got the best question. What do I think is? Say that again.
What do you think is working as we fight for justice and real change? Like, what is working?
That's a good question.
Experiences.
I'm gonna be honest how I feel about that. Mm-hmm. I have to go back to what's written. Okay, there's a narrative that's real, and it's so real. And that's a great question because right now it's manifesting on its own. Because we beyond anything we can do about anything. That's obvious, right?
Yeah, there's definitely.
Just think about it. There's nothing that nobody has done yet. Because we already beyond return of everything that they were. You know what I'm saying? In other words, it's working so beautiful. Like I said, I felt the energy in 2020, and that's what we needed. Remember we was held hostage? You couldn't come outside, could you?
Yeah, COVID-19.
Y'all, when we forget that. I don't, because I was part of the movement. But now, 5 years, whatever. In other words, I'm saying things is happening on God's will. We can't control nothing, obviously. But we can, if we believe and know the story, we'll see it as one or the other way. And I'm trying to be in accord with this energy because it's a beautiful thing. All we got to do is just enjoy it right now. That's all we can do, right? Ain't that what we doing now?
So how can you make an impact? How will you make an impact in this world?
Well, I would like to make the impact that I know that's going to happen, the impact that I've been feeling, the impact, and that's because it's for everybody. I just want everybody just to feel what I know. You know what I'm saying? And this is the ultimate story. This is the ultimate story, okay? The ultimate story, right? Huh?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about money, hustle, and success. How do you get to the bag?
How do I get to the what?
How do you get to the bag? How do you hustle smarter, not harder?
Well, that's a great question again. Because that's what it all should be about, right? Because that's what they do. Mm-hmm. Right? And any field of endeavor for work, because it was always said on a job, and I seen that, you're supposed to work just what you said, hard, work smarter and harder. And that's real true. That's why you got 1% making all the money, because they smarter than everybody, right? And now for us, because we gotta be real. We gotta keep this thing in content. And this thing is in content. You gotta go back and reflect on when something started brand new. And you go back and see all of the evidence of how it's done. It is no secret, is it? It started off with pureness. Right?
Right. How do systematic issues keep communities in financial struggles?
What? Say that again.
How does systematic issues keep communities in financial struggle?
Well, they've been doing it for the last 400 years. We just look back and study what's been going on from slavery to today. They just keep us ignorant. If you ain't ignorant, they blackball you. Because I've been blackballed from everywhere. You know that. And Brockton all the time. Eat my job everywhere. So I just got to go and keep this in real content. Because I used to tell my mother for the last 3-4 years, the only people that got a story really is black people. You know, we create, you know my theory that shit, right?
Do you have like any side hustles that work?
Any side hustle?
Yeah, do you have like any side hustles you could give that work?
Well, I ain't been having no side hustle for the last 3 years. Since I stopped going and doing something at the mall. You know, but there's 1,000 of them I can tell you I can do. That's for damn sure. But off the top of my head, that's what I would like to share with you and everybody. We can all become millionaires tomorrow.
Yeah, we gotta take control of our financial future.
Well, we should have been doing that shit 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Nation of Islam. Nation of Islam had banks, fucking schools, university, hospital, dudes, third grade education, Elijah Muhammad, right? Right? Nation of Islam. So what I'm saying, these things we should have been doing, but they're gonna happen anyway because now ain't got nothing to do with us. Come Johnny, come lately. They're gonna be the chosen ones, the ones that believe in their God. They're gonna stay and follow the path because I'm here to tell y'all that shit is happening to me every moment.
Okay, Salim. So thank you. I appreciate you being on my podcast, hearing your inputs and your views. I appreciate you so much. I am going to end this podcast on a positive note. So
I love it. I'm humble.
So bless you, bless up. Yeah.
Just to be able to start that, what you've been telling me for the last 5